women lawyers or women students, and naturally those who would become lawyers ultimately. And I met a girl, one of the girls, I'm sharing the experience, and she told me she was my class fellow, who happens to be my wife today. So even she had to struggle to get admission in law because her family was not accepting. And this is one of the social problems in those days, it may not be today. And she confided in me when we became friends at other levels, boyfriend and girlfriend. She said that unfortunately she had lost her father when she was 17 or 18 years of age. So she said that one of my uncles says that look, if he goes to law college, we have this apprehension she may fall into some love affair with somebody and that is not good. And therefore that may not be the reason. And ultimately, as if sending her to law school is going to give her so much of freedom, which should not be given to women. So that was in her family. This is what I came to know from her and the first-hand experience. Of course, the family feels pride in what she has done over a period of time, but that these periods may have changed. But then, let me tell one thing more, that when I see the educational institutions today, I keep going to various law schools, even my law faculty in Delhi University. I think students today, girl students are even more than 50%. Even teachers who used to be maybe one or two at that time, or three or four teachers, lady teachers, the number has grown substantially. What is the reason for this? If you see, apart from anything that just girls, they want to come to legal profession and they want to have legal education, etc., is one thing. But then, today, in most of the law schools, and particularly national law schools, admission is merit-based. Unlike our times, when it used to be said that law course should be taken as a matter of last resort. If you're not able to get admission in any other discipline, you come to law and take admission. But today, it's a conscious choice. And when there is a competitive examination, these girls are appearing in that exam and are faring better than male students. That is why they are more in numbers. I give you another example of lower judiciary, which I have seen. And same thing applies to as far as female teachers are concerned, their appointments, etc. When it comes to, I have seen when I was in the High Court, and we used to have the recruitment of judicial officers in the lower judiciary. Because in India, as far as lower judiciary is concerned, at two levels, we call it judicial service and higher judicial service. And at lower judicial service, the entry is only by competitive examination. And at higher judicial service, it is promotion from the lower judiciary and from the bar. But there again, competitive examination. 2 or 3, when I was in charge of the selection committee in the High Court, and I found in three batches where I made the recruitment as in charge, I think 70%, the total number of persons selected, 70% out of them were women or girls. In one of the batches, I still remember that statistics which I used to say, therefore I remember that statistics which I have narrated so often. Out of 36 judges appointed, 26 were girls. Among these 26, first 5 were in the merit list. First 5 were women, and in first 10, 8 were women. So when it comes to what I'm trying to emphasize is, when it comes to making selection on merit, they are outshining the boys. And it starts not only here. If you see even our CBSE results, I think I'm now, we must be, all of us must be observing for last 30, 40 years. The girls have always been doing better than the boys. So, whether it is admission in the law schools, whether it is in the lower judiciary, and therefore this, as far as lower judiciary is concerned, let me tell you, in future, in 10 or 15 years time, this complexion is going to be changed. Because today, some appointments which were made 10 years ago, 15 years ago, 20 years ago, and they are still judicial officers. But in last 5 or 7 years, and what I'm telling you about Delhi, I have observed in other states also. As Chief Justice of Punjab and Haryana High Court, same trend I saw. I've been going to other, and lower judiciary in other states. Almost same trend I have been seeing. Maybe exception, maybe because you have been doing empirical research, you know better. Exception may be few high courts. But most of the high courts, this is the position, and therefore, as far as lower judiciary is concerned, over a period of time, as far as representation of the women judges in lower judiciary is concerned, it is going to be better than that of men. But as I said, what I am trying to emphasize is this is because of their own merit. When it comes to selection of judges in the High Court and Supreme Court, and when women are good at that level, it doesn't mean that something happens later on and they are no more good when these women are to be picked up for appointment to High Court and Supreme Court. So what are the reasons? We will discuss all this. There are some which are in my mind. In the panel discussion we will be discussing. But that is not happening only in India. I tell you, 3 weeks ago only, I was in Yale Law School. And it was a conference on human rights. Of course, there were from 13 or 14 countries, there were judges, but rest of the, maybe about 35 to 40 were the law professors from Yale Law School and maybe from 1 or 2 other universities. And we had good discussions. I'm not talking about that, but before that, out of these judges who had come from various jurisdictions, 5 were women judges. So there was one talk in one of the mornings with the students of Yale Law School, where those 5 women judges discussed as to what kind of difficulties being women they face while discharging their duties as judges. And these judges were one from Canada, one from France, no, not from France, France was a male judge, yes, one from France also, and one, of course, from America, she was there, one from Germany. So even these countries, and they actually at that time had said that, look, 2 or 3 remarks which they made and which are still fresh in my mind. They, of course, narrated their experiences as women judges and what kind of hurdles they are facing. They said that we have seen that law affects female in a different way than males. I mean, that is the position of law also, and we see, and this gender affect, affects us being in court, that personal experience. And one of the judges, she said that, look, because unlike India where we are in Supreme Court, we sit in benches of 2 or 3, there in most of these jurisdictions, they are sitting 5 or 7 or all 9, etc., like in US. So she said that, look, when the matter is being argued and something is to be dictated or decided, sometimes the senior judge or the presiding judge would not even look at me, would not discuss with me. He would be discussing with his other colleagues, who are the male colleagues. So I had to assert myself that, look, and she said that I had to put my foot down, that you can't decide a case without discussing me, where the order is to pass in the court itself. And her remark was that, look, you have to be exceptionally good if you want to really make your mark. But why that one benchmark for us? If my counterpart, other male judge, who may be an average judge, but
he is given some importance, and I may be much better, but I am overlooked. And as example was given, Justice Leela said that look, because being a judge, so you look after the tea arrangements, etc., whenever there is a function. Of course, this work is given to somebody. Maybe the other judges or the Chief Justice might have thought that being a lady judge, she will be able to perform it better. But this mindset has to change. Even whether we talk of advocates in the bar, we talk of teachers in the educational or institutions, or we talk of judges in the court. Yes, we have Justice Indu Malhotra, who has been, of course, judge for few months, but then she'll be able to narrate her experiences if she is finding some difficulties, some obstacles when it comes to judging, and only because of the reason that she is a lady. But atmosphere is such, there is no doubt about it. This male psyche, that is still there. It is normally thought that, okay, she may not be able to do such kind of work, she should be given some lighter work. And still we have the problems where, even in the, it has come in your research papers itself, which I have seen, talk of advocates in the law firms, etc. They'll say that work which is not very important should be assigned to the ladies. Maybe client may not have that kind of confidence, and even boss doesn't have that kind of confidence. In spite, that's why I stated in the beginning, in spite of the fact that when entry to this profession or even entry to the law colleges, they have shown their merit, that they are better than their counterparts in many respects. So why this attitude doesn't have to change is the question. And these aspects which you are discussing, maybe there are certain social norms we have not been able to overcome, that mindsets and expectations, etc. So these are some of the issues I think we'll be discussing in the panel discussion. I just in my keynote address wanted to flag these issues and wanted to say something about it. Thank you very much.